Is there a future where you lose an award to AI? Hollywood isn't trying to become bigger again, it's trying to become cheaper. I feel like it's dead, to be honest. It's no longer YouTube, it's BitchTube.
From Los Angeles, California, this is the Monday Film Industry Brief. With your host, Justin Phillip.
AI is entering the awards conversations. BAFTA expands outstanding British film longlist and adds AI clause to the submission rules. Oh boy, oh boy. BAFTA announced that AI-assisted productions remain eligible for awards under its current framework. The discussion is shifting from whether AI belongs in filmmaking to how much AI is acceptable. The future argument won't be AI or no AI, it'll be where we draw the line. Oh boy, oh boy. Yes, BAFTA has once again tweaked its submission rules. In a series of new rules announced just this morning, the headline additions include the expansion of the Outstanding British Film Longlist and the addition of a new clause on films created using generative AI. The new AI law reads, where the use of generative AI or other digital tools is relevant, BAFTA reserves the right to request additional information regarding the nature of such use and the extent of human creative involvement. BAFTA said the new AI clause will also be added to the rule books for its other 2027 awards. Holy shit, reaffirming that the awards recognize and reward outstanding human creative achievement. Wow. Okay then. They're just kind of tweaking the rules a bit to allow those things to be submitted. I'm more curious to see how far they push that, you know what I'm saying? Like how much they're going to regulate that, or what's going to be the cutoff of too much AI versus, interesting stuff there. But it would be weird, is there a future where you lose an award to AI? Who's going to walk up and accept that? Blackmagic is clearly competing for productions that traditionally rented ARRI or Red, but what's new there? Blackmagic has always been like the redheaded stepchild. I've said that since day one. They've always been competing against ARRI and Red. I don't think they will ever achieve that status. I just don't. They're saying that Blackmagic isn't trying to be the cheap option anymore. I disagree. There's no real way to escape that. Once you start a certain path, once you create a universe, it's hard to, get away from that. So this is their 12K LF 100G Ethernet up to 240 frames per second at under 10 grand. You look at that, compare that to some prices of ARRI or Red, it's like, no, this is clearly like the Temu option, right? Like it's the budget option. To say that Blackmagic isn't trying to be the cheap option anymore, it's like, well, then what the do you call this? No, they are. They have always been that cheaper option, and they always will be. Look, you can't shade them for trying to level up. They're always pushing the envelope. They're always doing wild, crazy shit. But the reality is that some things never change. And the biggest things that haven't changed with Blackmagic since I've been, messing with cameras for the past 10 years is that their quality control has never improved. Honestly, the build quality has not improved. And in my opinion, it's because they keep recycling the same shit. They keep recycling the same sensors. They keep recycling the same camera bodies. There is no true evolution happening, right? They're just figuring out ways. I mean, the Pixis is a prime example of that. The Pixis was literally the same exact sensor, same exact camera as the 6K thing that they did. They just put it in like a weird box form. It was like the movie of the week. And then as soon as people thought it was cool, it quickly evaporated. That's how it goes with all the Blackmagic shit, right? It just does. At the same time, I've always been a fan of their image quality. I do think it's great. And I think there was a time when their sensors were closer to digital film. In those Fairchild sensor cinema DNG days, way closer to digital film than where it is nowadays. That's my opinion on it. I don't think Blackmagic will ever escape this kind of dungeon that they've put themselves in of being like the budget option, the student film option. It just will be. I think on the other end, the post end, the streaming end, they're, looked at a little bit more as the standard, Resolve and their streaming infrastructures, all of that stuff is their saving grace, right? Because DaVinci Resolve is kind of the industry standard for color grading. It always has been. They have their strong points, but then, the cameras is kind of their weaker point. That's just my opinion, my own bias, right? Take it as you may. Yes, ARRI's dominance remains largely unchanged. ARRI cameras dominate at the Cannes 2026. ARRI cameras were the capture tools of choice. ARRI is such the king of Hollywood. They're beyond just cameras. They have been the choice since way before there even was digital. right? So they have the reputation long before anybody even dreamed up Blackmagic design out of Australia. That all matters, especially in such like a tight-knit world like Hollywood is. You know, it's the reputation precedes everything. ARRI will never be replaced. You know, as long as guys like Deakins are sitting down with them and using all their stuff, it's never gonna change. The closest option to film without dealing with the hassle and the expense of film tends to always come back to ARRI. It shouldn't matter, right? Because people always say, oh, what's it matter what it was shot on? But, you know, the proof is in the pudding, right? This can be confusing to people where they go, yup, that's what we need too. Look, 10 movies at Cannes 2026 use the Alexa 35. That's what we need to shoot our movie on because that's the best camera. And maybe our movie will get in at Cannes 2027, right? This the poison, right? That's what's funneled down into the brains of the ignorant ones or people just not, you know, aware of the reality of, yeah, but, you know, it depends on who your DP is. You give Sir Roger Deakins a Canon EOS M, he's gonna blow anything you've ever seen out of the water shot with that little tiny camera. You know, let's be real. You know, people think that the camera is gonna magically change something that you're capable of. Never in a million years. It's not gonna fucking happen. I hate to burst your bubble. It doesn't matter what camera you're shooting on. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna add anything to your creativity. It may be inspiring to you to have a new tool. Like, yeah, it could be inspiring for you. But that's just like a dopamine hit. That's not actually changing your expertise or your true creative ability that you're able. It's not going to affect your output. It's just not. Look at the size of this softbox here. They're competing with the Beats. Like, bam, they got them good. Look at the size of that softbox. That's 2-in-1 actually. That's like 2 ARRI S60 sky panels in one. They got it on the big crank arm. Boom, just blasted at them. They got to fight that beach. Look at that beach, boys. This guy looks like Aaron Paul's long lost older brother over here. That's hilarious. Despite constant YouTube discussions about camera wars, the highest end narrative work still overwhelmingly trusts established ecosystems. The internet debates censors, Hollywood buys reliability. Look, I don't even know if that's true. I wouldn't even call it reliability. I would call it Hollywood buys reputations. Warner Brothers Paramount merger scrutiny continues. So fewer studios generally means fewer buyers, fewer executives commissioning work, and increased bargaining power for large companies. Every merger promises efficiency, but freelancers usually experience fewer opportunities first. Yeah, freelancers always get like, none of this stuff matters to freelancers. You know what I'm saying? There's no internet police, and streaming is 100% internet related. So you can easily have monopolies. You know, that's how things like Meta gets born. You know, Facebook created a monopoly as soon as they bought up Instagram. You know, if they could, Facebook would buy up all the social medias. It would be one huge monopoly, you know, and now we see this in the streaming world too. It never used to be Warner Brothers Discovery. You know what I'm saying? It was at a time those were separated as well. So they all just kind of keep merging and melding into each other. This is way over my head, but just be aware that it's going on. And yes, freelancers usually experience fewer opportunities first, 100%. Disney continues cost reductions as well. Disney cuts hundreds of jobs, including at Pixar and National Geographic. Even if production resumes, studios remain focused on operating leaner. Hollywood isn't trying to become bigger again, it's trying to become cheaper. Disney has cut several hundred staff across animation studio Pixar, ESPN, and its TV production unit, with brands including Nat Geo among those affected. Yeah, so laying people off here. Given the fast-moving pace of our industries, this requires us to constantly assess how to foster a more agile and technologically enabled workforce to meet tomorrow's needs. Wow. So here's the real question I have. Laying off jobs because of why? Right? But the only thing I can think about is the replacement of those jobs. And I feel like that's where AI comes in, sadly. YouTube advertising continues growing. This is all for our YouTubers out there. YouTube ad revenue rises 13% in the second quarter to surpass $11 billion, boosting parent Alphabet's performance. What? YouTube pulled in $11.055 billion in ad revenue, showing the double-digit growth that has eluded its traditional media rivals in recent years. Along with its deep well of creator content, YouTube is increasingly looking to cross over into traditional entertainment, landing rights to the Academy Awards and the NFL football games. Yeah, and I think that's why Netflix had really started pushing the live streams starting last year, you know, like live streaming the Jake Paul fight and all of that. And Netflix has seen the writing on the wall, so they're trying to jump the gun on that and get ahead of that. Pretty nuts, man. Creator-driven production continues gaining economic strength while traditional television restructures. TV has been constantly trying to catch up with the YouTube game, right? It's this crazy thing that's happened where way more people have, YouTube on their TVs nowadays. I watch the analytics of both of my channels, the Justin Phillip channel and the Freeway Life channel. It even shows you what devices people are watching on, and a good percentage of it, sometimes a higher percentage of it, are watching on television, watching YouTube from their televisions. It's how you have all these YouTubers that make more money because they get more views than the TV shows that they're competing with. It's been a constant thing for television trying to catch up with the YouTube thing. I think it's a little late, to be honest. I don't know what's going to be the future of like traditional television. I feel like it's dead, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong about that. YouTube isn't replacing Hollywood, but it keeps becoming a larger part of the production economy. Yeah, I would agree with that. YouTube's not going anywhere. It's going to keep growing stronger and stronger. More and more creators are getting on there and trying to figure it out. That is one way it could go. If the money is large enough and the stronghold is large enough and whoever's in whose pockets, that could be the thing that kills, the smaller YouTubers like me. Because, if we get suppressed so far down, no one's going to watch the weird artsy shit that I put on the Freeway Life. For instance, if BBC is getting pushed in the algo and Freeway Life is getting suppressed, that is a way they could try to police it. Let's hope that doesn't spread, because that's a pretty shitty thing, It kind of goes against the whole YouTube. It's literally in the name, right? YouTube. So if it becomes like, oh, we're just going to suppress everybody that's not connected to a big company, it's no longer YouTube, it's BitchTube. The beauty of what's happening nowadays with YouTube and independent artists is artists should stay independent forever. I don't know. I think there's more of a beauty to staying independent nowadays. One, because you get to reap all the benefits of your own YouTube channel, The downside is the distribution. It is, I think, much harder of a game to play when you got to figure out the marketing and the distribution for yourself. So that is kind of where you do got to kind of like sell out a little bit, get the bigger names. Freelance reality check. Okay, here we go. This week's news doesn't suggest a sudden recovery for working DPs. More consolidation, better tools, stable software, faster workflows, continued pressure on freelance rates, production still concentrated around larger buyers rather than broad growth across the industry. Technology keeps getting cheaper. Earning a living with it doesn't. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. It is what it is. It's a hard road right now. Hollywood is a controlled little box, and they want to keep it how they got it. It's sad but true, man. All I can do is just keep my nose on the ground, keep doing what I'm doing with the Freeway Life. That's my creative outlet. It's a form of therapy for me. So it doesn't matter if I don't go viral on the videos. It's a good thing for me to do. It's good for me mentally. It's good for me physically. Use what you use. Use what you need to use to create the stuff that you need to create to make you feel better and make your life better. That's what art has always been about. You got to remember, it's almost like a separate universe. It's part of your industry if you want to be a part of the industry, but it's also not too. You can do whatever you want on YouTube. You can remain a free, independent artist, but even if they do suppress you, who cares? Who cares? Deal with the suppression. Fight the opposition, Keep it moving on, man.